Welcome Kitsap County. Today we're talking about the 4 questions, different questions to ask any agent that you're interviewing when listing your home. And these are questions you're not going to find and that you wouldn't think to ask. So if you Google this, you're going to find hundreds of questions people recommend you ask agents when interviewing to list your home. These are questions we feel from the industry side we wish people were asking that are going to separate the cream from the milk. I'm Stephanie Dupuis with Dupuis team at Keller Williams West Sound, joined today by
Cassandra Lopez, Dupuis team, Keller Williams West Sound.
So Cassie, we meet with sellers frequently or in listing appointments, and we often hear the same questions. Yeah, the generic questions, and if you do a Google search on this, it's going to pull up a litany of questions. And what I have found is that the intent of the seller is good. They want to, they're trying to protect themselves and be diligent. Interview at least three agents, screen out the bad ones, pick the best one. And what we did was we thought about this. We're like, let's dial this in a little bit and really dissect so you can really get to the core of what's a good agent. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first question we recommend is, I'm going to say this a couple times so you can write this down after you rewind the video. Instead of, I won't do that, I'll do it this way. Ask them, can you please provide an MLS printout of your sales price to list price for listings in the last 12 months? Okay, so what this question is you want to see only the listings that they sold. Most of the questions we see online are, how many homes have you sold in the last 12 months? Well, if you ask an agent that, they're going to tell you how many buyers they represented and how many sellers they represented. If any sellers. And you don't want to, what other problems here, Cassie? I get so wound up about that question.
So, I mean, it's an intuitive question for a homeowner to ask when they're interviewing, or like, how many transactions have you done? Well, asking that question incorporates buyers and sellers. The buyers you represented in purchases are irrelevant to how a broker is going to list your home as a listing. Mm-hmm. So you want to know how many listings have you done, the sales price to list price ratio on that, and whether or not they were arm's length transactions or distressed property transactions.
Yes.
Because those all matter, and it's not something that's really intuitively thought, by a homeowner to ask that sort of stuff. I mean, if you're an expert in short sales and foreclosures and that's all you do, but you're not interviewing for a short sale or a foreclosure listing, well, there might be a discrepancy there.
Great point. And I think you just made another good point I'm gonna go back to. You said this is not an intuitive question for the homeowner, and that's why we're making this video today. We wouldn't expect a homeowner to ask this question. We're saying as industry professionals, you should ask this question. This question will prevent you from hiring the wrong agent.
Yep.
Big time.
Yep.
Ask them for the listings they've sold in the last 12 months. Versus, here's the wrong question. How long have you been in the business? Who cares how long they've been in the business? If they've
irrelevant.
Been 30 years and only sold
irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant.
There's agents who've been in the business for 20 years who have done 20 transactions.
Yep. I won't go there. Another irrelevant question is, how many homes have you sold in the last year? Mm-hmm. How many homes did you sell last year? Well, what about the last 12 months? Just do the last 12 months, and you don't care about buyers. Ask them how many listings you sold. They may have sold 70 sales, but only 5 listings. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other agent has 70 listings. Which one do you want to work with? Okay? And then what Cassie said was ask them for a list of all their listings they've sold in the last 12 months, and ask them for a separate list that removes their distressed sales. That way you can see which agents you don't want to compare an agent that has no distressed sales versus an agent with distressed sales. And I would consider agents who do distressed sales, by the way. Distressed sales are REOs, or foreclosures, and short sales. Okay? Those agents know a lot of stuff. They've got a depth of experience. Even if you're listing a luxury property, you want that experience because they've had to do things that may come up in your transaction if the other agents haven't. Okay?
It's a special skill set.
It's a very, very special skill set. You kind of want to mix, somebody with a little bit of a base to their skill set. That'd be my recommendation. That's what I'd look for. We can go on and on about that question. So let's just go on for the sake of time here. The second question is, do you have a team or are you a solo agent? So it's really difficult to tell sometimes these days, and some, sellers aren't aware of teams versus solo agents, the difference. Mm-hmm. You can Google it. But you need to ask if the agent is part of a team or a solo agent. And then when they answer it, if they're part of the team, ask them a follow-up question. Who will I be working with and who's my main contact? And if I'm doing a listing, well, we'll get to that. Keep me on track, Cassie. If it's a solo agent, I would do a follow-up question of, how do you compete with the marketing efficiency and detail provided by a team as one person doing the job of many? Because being a broker has become a very complicated job in the state of Washington. I don't believe it's any one-person job any longer. That's my opinion. So
it gives a whole new meaning to the term, it takes a village.
Well said.
Yeah.
So why is asking if somebody's been a team or a solo agent an important question, and how does the seller sniff that out and what's best for them in that?
Yeah. So there's so many things that go into listing and marketing a home that it requires really more than one person, if nothing else for the sake of time and efficiency, to get everything done. So if you have one broker wearing all these different hats, they're going to spread themselves thin. Stuff is not going to be completed maybe the most effective way or the most efficient way or the most complete way, how you would like your home listed and marketed. Whereas a team, each person on the team has their specific role and agenda to focus on and perfect. So it's definitely beneficial if you are using a listing broker to look for somebody who has support. Alternatively, it's a benefit to the seller too, because if one of us has to leave town for a conference or a family affair or something like that, we always have somebody backing us up.
Yes, who's full-time work dedicated. They're not, at the family event giving the client half their attention with two of them. And you never want to have two lines in you while you're doing work in this business. So that's a rundown on the teams versus solo agent. That could be a whole separate video, huh?
Totally. Yeah.
Well, that'll be another one maybe someday. The third question we recommend is, what would you define your job role as my agent? As my agent, how do you define your job?
Yeah, really good question. And this is something that we're not thought, when people think of a realtor or a broker, they don't think of this. Mm-hmm. They think we're the salesperson, we're the marketing person, we're the door-to-door knocker person, whatever hat you want us to wear. Really effectively, when it comes down to it, we are your advisor. We are allowed by the state of Washington through our licensing to practice a very narrow scope of law specific to real estate. So we get to advise you to that level and to that standard of practice. So there's a lot of accountability that goes on behind that too.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it's important to ask a broker what they see their job role is in respect to the seller is it might surprise the seller what the broker says, and they should be aware or have their antennas up for a couple what we call company line answers. Mm-hmm. So, I would expect you know, if I was a seller asking this question, this would really separate brokers who understand the role of their job versus people who might regurgitate some company lines. So some company lines you might hear would be, what would you say a company line answer would be? I know what mine, the one that is.
Yeah, maybe one of the most popular ones is just to get you the most amount of money, or to sell your house for the most amount of money. That's my job.
I hear that all the time. I was just going to say somewhere, my job is to sell your house for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Why are you here if that is not your job?
What you want to know is drill down if they understand what their job is. And, you know, the way, you know, I might answer this is similar to what Cassie just said, is I'm your advisor, your trusted advisor on this transaction. And there's two parts to my job. And I'd go into the two parts of the job and I'd explain it to you in simple terms, and then we can break it down if needed. And I'd explain it to you how I'd execute that job. And that would give, you know, that always gives the client a deeper understanding of what our role is. Our term is broker. We broker a transaction, but under that umbrella of broker are two very clear, separate sides to the job in the state of Washington. It has a lot to do with state law. So you need to know if your broker actually understands what they're supposed to do.
Right. If they know that they're supposed to be your advisor.
Yeah.
Or they're just to stick a sign in the yard.
Yeah. So look for, that separates the level that the broker's at. Number 4, and you'll notice number 4 addresses an issue, something, and the reason why we're asking this, let me just tell you the question. Number 4 is, what is your marketing plan? And we recommend asking a broker what their marketing plan is. And we think this is a more important question than asking them, how did you get at our estimated list price or estimated home value? We actually think that's a less important question than asking, what is your marketing plan? And so, Cassie, why is that an important question for sellers, and how does that expose agent or broker's qualifications and skill level and how well they'll represent a client?
Right. I think it's really easy, especially in this seller's market, to just, for a listing broker to kind of wing it and not have a marketing plan, because they're anticipating the market doing their job for them. They're anticipating just putting it in the MLS. They're going to get a flock of buyers, 20 offers, 10% over list price, whatever that market average is. The problem with that is that does not require any sort of skill or thought or investment whatsoever.
And to interrupt you too, is that not, I'm going to get really, man, it's going to go on video and go public. I'm going to get nailed on this maybe. Lazy.
Yeah.
It's flat lazy, and it's not serving the best interests of the client, and that's where people are losing money. And this is a cultural problem, because how many times have we heard lately, houses are selling themselves right now?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll sell.
Yeah.
Lost 3%.
Yeah. Well, and those are the brokers who are just floating with the market. So when the market corrects, they're not going to have a skill set for the different market conditions ahead.
Yeah. And then there's the whole
excuse me,
life, you know, kind of our life lessons we know, where if you and I know this, if a broker has a quality marketing plan, they probably have a quality way of determining home value. And they probably understand their job role well. And they probably take care and pay attention to details everywhere in their job. And agents who don't have a quality marketing plan probably don't do all those things elsewhere in their job. That's a trend we see.
Yep. So all of that goes hand in hand. So the value that your broker gives you, you know, trust it, because it's based on facts and data, right? And then this is the marketing plan that's going to get you that amount of money, or hopefully more. Conversely, if you overprice your home, or, you know, you go against what your broker tells you, well, I see that you think my home is worth $350, but I want to list it for $400. There's no amount of marketing in the world that will sell it over
That is true. That is true. You can't sell a Ford hatchback for the price of a Lamborghini. That is called the physics of sales. So we're going to tie all 4 questions together. Then what you want to pay attention to, if you want to know if their marketing plan works, if they actually execute this marketing plan they show you, right? It's like, great, that's an awesome marketing plan. Look at their sales price to list price and compare it to the other agents and brokers you need.
Yep, that's back to question number 1.
Yep. So an agent who has a quality marketing plan will have a sales price to list price. Their sales price will be higher to the list price than the other agents on average. Okay? That's how you check them on that. So they might be telling you, I've got this great marketing plan, here it is, it's the bomb, it's the $150 million marketing plan, it's the Lamborghini of marketing plans, but their sales price to list price is stinks.
It's low.
Compared, it's low compared to people, other agents that you're interviewing. And what I would do is I would be like, hey, either they can't execute it or they grabbed a piece of paper off the internet, threw it in their listing packet, or, okay? So that's how you quality check things. And I think if you do these 4 things, you don't have to ask an agent a ton of questions. Stick to those 4 questions, you're gonna sniff most people out, pay attention to your instincts.
Yep. And you're gonna have a really good conversation and you're gonna be able to judge right away based on the quality of the answers. So are they stumbling over the answers, or do they, my sales price to list price is 103. Oh, I did, 17 listings in the past 6 months. Here's our 20-point marketing plan, and everything's like boom, boom, boom. Agents prepared, got all the facts, everything ready to answer your questions. Or are we stumbling over, we put it on Facebook and, we'll put it on Zillow and, stuff like that. You'll never.
Yeah, and with the sales price to list price question, the first question, it is absolutely fair to give the agent a heads up and ask them to come with that information. It's not something they're likely to come to an interview with. Cassie and I both know our stats off the top of our head because we just know our data. But most agents don't. It'd be fair to give them a heads up. And it'd be fair, if you forget to give them a heads up, to let them get it to you. However, if you're really a type A seller, give them a heads up so you guys can discuss it at the interview. All right. Thank you for joining us. Those are the 4 different questions that from an industry insider point of view, we feel you need to ask. These are not intuitive questions. There's no way, I don't think, a seller would know to ask these questions.
Yep.
We're saying, hey, from our point of view, this is how you sniff out the winners from the losers in our business. All right? I'm Stephanie Dupuis. I'm gonna back up. I need to do our normal. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Leave your questions below. Have a great week and all that stuff. And I'm Stephanie Dupuis, team at Keller Williams West Sound with
Cassandra Lopez, Dupuis team, Keller Williams West Sound.
Full Beans. Have a good week, everybody.